Ladies and gentlemen, we are absolutely buzzing. Folks, it's a good time to be alive, and it's an even better time to be in crypto. At the time of recording, with one of the crypto goats, it is 73,000 US dollars for one single orange shiny Bitcoin. We love to see it. The market's pumping, teams are shipping incredible things, everyone's in a good mood. Mikey Saylor is pumping the shit out of Bitcoin on national television, absolutely just stunting on everyone who tries to stunt on him. It's a great time to be alive, great time to be in the space, and we hope you guys are all having a blast and enjoying this ride as well. Super pumped to have today's guest on the show, Jimmy Zhao, seasoned senior solution architect at BNB Chain, who has leveraged over a decade of diverse experience in system and infrastructure development. Jimmy leads the design and implementation of enterprise-grade blockchain solutions and focuses on translating business needs into technical requirements, collaborating closely with dApp and infrastructure projects. His extensive background spans notable roles at Alibaba, HSBC, Huawei, and IBM, showcasing his prowess in the payment, finance, and technology sectors. Jimmy's significant contribution to the opBNB system, which I can't wait to get into, and ecosystem development demonstrates his commitment and contribution to accelerating the adoption of blockchain tech. Folks, as you can hear with that bio, I am a little under the weather. This is a Michael Jordan flu game podcast, but we are going to make this work. Jimmy, welcome to the show, my friend. Super pumped to have you on. How you doing?
Great. Thanks, Matt. I'm very excited to be here. I'm really, excited to introduce my work and also our teams, what our team is doing and how we are going to, boost the ecosystem of the blockchain so that we can have a bright future.
Love that, man. Pumped to have you on. You are currently having a blast in the Netherlands. I love the Netherlands. I've only been to Amsterdam. I've been nowhere else. I know you are not in Amsterdam, and if we have time, we get into that at the end of the show, but let's jump right into it. Before we get into your past and BNB Chain and all that stuff, how about the present day market? Bitcoin ripping, ETH ripping, price action aside, you have incredible teams shipping really good products absolutely everywhere. How much fun is this? Does this not remind you of the good days back in 2021? How much fun is it to just be, a contributor in the crypto ecosystem present day?
Yeah, I think the present day, the market is really good, but I think it's give us a chance to educate the community about what blockchain is, what kind of the value it can bring to the market and to people's life. And BNB Chain is also willing to contribute this kind of innovations to cultivate the culture and also build the quite innovative solutions for the users and for the traders as well.
It truly is a great time to be building right now. Before we get into BNB Chain, I'd love if you could tell us a couple funny or interesting stories. We love stories on the Crypto News Pod. You've worked for some incredible companies, and these are all Asian. Well, I mean, with the exception of IBM, three really, really powerful Asian companies: Alibaba, HSBC, and Huawei. Any interesting stories, perhaps for our American listeners, just to sort of show the contrast of working for a behemoth in Asia versus a behemoth in North America or Europe with Alibaba, HSBC, and Huawei? Any cool or interesting or funny work-life balance stories, building stories, anything in regards to those four companies would be great. Just, we love that stuff. And again, for me, I can't relate, never worked for a company like that. If you have anything, we'd love to hear it.
Yeah, that's really interesting question. To be actually working in the blockchain environment, or we can call it crypto industry, is quite different from working in the traditional companies. I mean, the Web2 companies like the IBM or Alibaba or something. So working in BNB, actually, we are a very distributed group. So people from across the world. So we have to find a better time for everyone to jump into a single meeting so that we can discuss each other. But we don't, because we are distributed, so we don't have to go to the office. So we have to find the best time slot for us and for the team to make the whole team more efficient. Working for the traditional Web2 companies, people usually go to the office and meet up each other. But that's another fun part, working together, because you see people in person. You can feel the culture and feel people's emotion and understand more each other and have some deep connections within the team. So that part is I really, really appreciate, and I really value the connections among the people. right? So right now, I'm also looking for the opportunities to participate offline events, and also because one is that is because I can meet our team members at the events in person. And I also want to meet different developers and projects so that we can have a deeper discussion how to, the build on top of the BNB chain or the blockchain, other chains as well, and also how to contribute to the ecosystem. So the deep conversations or in-person discussions always invoke me to think in a different way. So I really appreciate that value, and we can bring together when we meet people in person.
I love that. Jimmy, let's jump into BNB Chain here. Before we get into the nitty gritty, I'd love if you could just sort of set the stage and set the table for our listeners and myself in regards to the difference between BNB Chain and Binance and your sort of synergetic, relationship with each other. Because a lot of people, when they see BNB Chain, they think, oh, it's just Binance, but it's a part of Binance, but different. And I'd love if you could sort of set that table before we get into the nitty gritty here.
Yeah, the BNB Chain actually is separated from Binance. We are a separate entity. So of course, Binance is one of the biggest users of the BNB Chain because people just do transfers and trades on the Binance, and they can withdraw their tokens to the BNB Chain in their Web3 wallet. And the BNB Chain also provides, the technical insight and working together with the projects that incubate by Binance Lab. So basically, we are providing the technical infrastructure for the Binance and also other projects as well. But from the entity perspective, we are separate. BNB Chain is BNB Chain, Binance is Binance. So a lot of people approach to us to ask, hey, we have some problems with Binance exchange, but we cannot directly help them because they have to approach to the Binance support team to get the answers. BNB Chain, actually, we are taking care of our chain and also taking care of our projects built on top of the BNB Chain. So another thing I want to mention is that people always call BNB Chain or BSC Binance Chain, but actually our name of BNB Chain is BNB Smart Chain or opBNB or BNB Greenfield. We do not call it a Binance Chain. I just want to mention that.
No, of course, that totally makes sense. And let's just jump right into it here. One BNB is the multi-chain paradigm and how it interconnects BSC, opBNB, and Greenfield, sort of the three-headed monster that facilitates the transition of applications to be fully on-chain. This provides you guys with a massive framework of Web3 dApps. I'd love if you could get into the benefits, why it was introduced, and sort of why one BNB was created. Because when I was doing research for the show, this sort of blew my mind how powerful this is, and also how much traction you guys have got in such a, I don't want to say minuscule, but really not that long of time. opBNB has been absolutely ripping. BSC DAU is also ripping on L1 and L2, literally the top two chains. And you got to get into that and tell us more about those two.
Sure. Actually, the one BNB, we call it a one BOB multi-chain paradigm. Actually, it was introduced by the BNB Chain team. It's our strategic framework to streamline the interconnections between, you just mentioned the BSC, which is our layer one chain, and also the opBNB and the BNB Greenfield. opBNB, of course, is our layer 2 network, and BNB Greenfield is our decentralized storage. So this paradigm, we aim to facilitate the transitions of applications to fully on-chain Web3 framework so that they can leverage the unique strength of each chain within the BNB ecosystem. For example, you can the benefits of this approach can enhance the scalability. I mean, the opBNB has much higher block gas limit and also higher TPS, and also the interoperability, so that the BSC and opBNB can also use as a programmable layer to the BNB Greenfield and the user experiences, making it easier for developers to build and deploy applications that can operate across multiple chain environments. So until now, basically the Web3 applications has focused on the partially on-chain models. Now the focus is shifting to fully on-chain. So, however, developers lack the tech stack to manage this transition. So one BNB chain is to meet this need by integrating the three different chains to meet the decentralized computing, to storage, and to execution to one holistic solution. I think that's kind of the benefits can make it easier or enable the developers to deploy and applications that can be fully on chain. Not only the execution part, but also the storage part, to address the growing demands for more efficient, more secure, and more user-friendly applications.
And for OP here, I mean, OP is absolutely blowing up right now. Like, I'd love to get into the optimism ecosystem, why everyone's choosing to build on it. You guys obviously could have chosen a myriad of different blockchains to build on and with, but you went with OP. Why OP?
You mean the optimism OP stack, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, you must know that the opBNB, we have introduced the opBNB in the BNB chain, which is our layer 2. We also use the optimism OP stack as our technical foundation to introduce. At the same time, we also introduce some of the optimizations on the opBNB to the OP stack to make sure the OP stack can work smoothly with the BSC, because the BSC architecture is, although it is the EVM compatible chain, but we also introduce some of the optimizations. For example, the BSC, which has larger block size and also 3 seconds block time. And we also introduced a different security model. For example, we use the POAS and also introduce different mechanism of the gas burning stuff. For example, the EIP 1559 was not introduced to BSC. Those kind of the differences can introduce some compatibility issues, as well as also introduce some of the requirements for the OP stack. So we introduced a lot of optimizations and innovations to OP stack to make it work with the BSC. The reason is that why we choose the OP stack is that the OP stack is modular, so that we can define the interfaces among different modules and to keep the interface consistent, and also introduce our code into the implementation to make it work smoothly. And at the same time, I think at this moment, the optimism OP stack is the most suitable solution for us to have the performance optimization, because we want to make sure the opBNB is the high performance blockchain. I mean, the high performance layer 2. We reduced the block time from 3 seconds, 2 seconds to 1 second, so that the latency and the user experiences of the layer 2 could be guaranteed. And also we increased the gas limit from 30 million gas per block to 100 million gas per second on the opBNB, wow, which means it can make around 4,500 transactions per second. I mean, the transfer transaction. So it will be very useful for dApp developers to utilize this kind of capacity to make sure their applications can meet the growth of the user base, and also from the activity users perspective. So right now, I believe the opBNB is the most active layer 2, including the layer 2 on the Ethereum. So opBNB has achieved that achievement. And we also want to set the gas fee to the new level. For example, if you transfer a token on the opBNB, the gas fee is around $0.001. So it will be much, much lower than layer 2 on top of the Ethereum. Of course, much lower than BSC itself. Even after the hot topic of the blob storage, the EIP 4844, the Ethereum is going to introduce Airstone. I think it will be today or tomorrow. So after they introduce the EIP 4844, the gas fee of layer 2 will be reduced a lot. But at this moment, I think there are 6 slots on the block storage on the Ethereum. But there are multiple layer 2s on top of the Ethereum. So there must be a competitive market at this moment. BNB Chain also introduced this kind of the similar block storage to the BSC as well. So we will reduce the cost even further to 15 times lower than current existing level, which will be very important for the ecosystem, because the gas fee is still a very big issue we want to solve. Especially if you transfer or making transactions on Ethereum, you will notice that it's very, very high for most daily transactions. That's not sustainable, to be honest.
It's wild, Jimmy. It's back in 2021 when everyone was messing around with NFTs, and you would have a $60 transaction or excuse me, a $60 gas fee for NFTs. People didn't care because everyone was printing money. I had a friend last week who called me up and was like, Matt, I need, I want to buy some shitcoins. What should I do? I was like, look, here's a couple decent ones. Again, there's a 90% chance your money's going to go to zero. And you have a 2, 3, 4% chance that you could hit a 5 to 10 bagger here. You're pretty much gambling, but I'll walk him through it. And he's like, why the heck do I have to spend $60 to buy $300 worth of a shitcoin? This makes no sense. And
yeah.
I'm like, brother, you're also going to have to spend another 60 when you sell. So, even if you 2x, half your profit is it's gone. Half your profit's gone. I can't believe we're in 2024 and the ETH ecosystem has yet to figure this out. This is why L2s like opBNB are the future. You can't use Ethereum. That's crazy. I'm sure you saw the whole Blast thing, where Blast got tons of traction. Same Pac-Man Blur, the founder of Blur, who obviously created, not anymore, but at the time, the biggest NFT ecosystem. They surpassed OpenSea. Myself and a couple of people in my circle put some money on Blast and wanted to see what it was like. And to bridge from testnet to mainnet, it's $160. Like, that's absolutely wild. This has to stop. And I hope this update moves the needle. But we've heard ETH announce and launch updates many a times, and nothing's changed. You think this new one that's launching today or tomorrow, you think it'll actually cut down the price of gas, or is it all fugazi?
Yeah, I believe so. Because this kind of the blob storage is not a permanent storage. It's kind of the temporary storage that can be used by the layer 2. So layer 2 can just submit their transactions to the blob storage instead of the core data, which will reduce the cost very much. So I think that's a good thing to the ecosystem. And nice. That's the reason why the BNB Chain also introduces blob storage to the BSC as well. So we will publish the timeline very soon. But I think the design could be, because we want to show our respect to the Ethereum ecosystem. And we believe this kind of this innovations can also bring benefits to the BNB Chain users as well.
I love that. Jimmy, we got to take a quick break and give a huge shout out to our sponsor of the show. And when we get back, we are going to continue to buzz on BNB, who you guys are targeting for mass adoption, DeFi, gaming, and of course, the trendy 2024 topics like DeFi, AI, DePIN, and fully on-chain gaming. Until then, huge shout out to Prime XBT, longtime friends of the Crypto News podcast and longtime sponsors of the Crypto News pod. We love the team at Prime XBT as they offer a robust trading system for both beginners and professional traders. It doesn't matter if you're a rookie or a vet. You can easily design and customize your layouts and widgets to best fit your trading style. Prime XBT is also running exclusive promos for listeners of the Crypto News podcast. Use the promo code CryptoNews50, and that is CryptoNews50, all one word, to receive 50% of your deposit credited to your trading account. Again, that is CryptoNews50 to receive 50% of your deposit credited to your trading account. And now back to the show with Jimmy. Jimmy, let's get right into some 2024 outlooks. You guys, of course, along with every other chain, many of the big chains similar to yourselves have an opportunity to really grab some market share with mass adoption. Whenever there's a bull run, we get the normies in, we get mainstream. That's how we hit mass adoption. The question is, which area or which areas will be that catalyst that opens up the doors and lets everyone in? Is it going to be DeFi, AI, DePIN, fully on-chain gaming? You guys are working in all those. I think we'll sort of hit them all, but let's start with DeFi. What are you guys building in the DeFi space right now? And why is DeFi so important to bring the masses in 2024?
I think that's a great question. I think the big DeFi is the foundation of the blockchain ecosystem. people do not like the centralization exchanges, as well as do not like the decentralization on the application. And the financial applications is the core function of the blockchain, from the Bitcoin to the latest development, of course. So for the 2024, I just mentioned the opBNB. We want, of course, I just want to mention the BSC is our DeFi hub, which is our layer 1 network, because it has the highest TVL in the BNB ecosystem, and also have the biggest DAU. I think this number one DAU from number one blockchain from the DAU perspective, the top chain. So there are a lot of the big, very good DeFi projects coming to the BSC. But in 2024, we want to do more innovations in layer 2 as well. For example, we want to the reason why we want to increase the TPS of the opBNB is that we can support more innovative solutions. For example, for the high frequent transactions or high frequent trades on the layer 2, as well as we also want to make sure the block time of the layer 2 can be reduced even further to increase the latency of the blockchain, especially for the high frequent transactions. At the same time, we also introduced we call it BNB Chain or opBNB Connect, which will be introduced the interoperabilities among the two different layer 2s on top of the BSC. For example, right now, the liquidity is divided among the different layer 2s or layer 1s. So we want to introduce the interoperability among different layer 2s so that a lot of innovations can be built on top of it. For example, the cross-chain DeFi, as well as atomic transactions among different blockchains could also be possible. So this kind of innovation can bring more opportunities for the DeFi applications developers.
I love that. And again, it's just DeFi is so important, allows people to unbank themselves. A huge area. I'd also love to get into something that's super trendy, AI. What teams and protocols are you guys working with, building with right now? AI is absolutely popping off. I mean, if anyone's seen the AI basket on CoinGecko or CoinMarketCap, it's just absolute bananas. You have the NVIDIA conference. I believe it's actually, by the time this episode releases, it will be this week. And a lot of people are saying this is a big sort of meta/alpha narrative to the crypto AI space. But what areas of AI really excite you, get you going at the moment? And if you guys are working with any really cool AI companies, love to hear them and shout them out.
Yeah, I think the AI right now make me myself excited is about the AI marketplace, which can utilize the decentralization blockchain technology. So for example, if you can provide the proof so that the AI model can be tokenized. For example, if I'm an AI model owner, I can make a tuning for the AI model and also change some of the configurations and training set of my AI model. I can tokenize it to allow the users to use crypto to pay the AI service it can provide to the users. That'd be very interesting to the ecosystem as well. At the same time, we also want to provide the infrastructure part. For example, the BNB Greenfield, which can provide the storage layer for the AI. For example, you can do the AI data labeling or data analytics, and also the storage, which will be very interesting to I think to the ecosystem. For example, we can tokenize the data and provide the new economic model for the data labeling or data analytics for AI training sector. That'll be an innovative solution for the whole industry. And at the same time, we also want to allow the ZK machine learning stuff. That'd be very interesting solution to the whole system. So that of course we are working together with some of the AI companies or AI projects to working together to find out the best solution on top of the BNB chain. So you will see a lot of projects coming to the BNB chain in the future. I cannot talk about more details, but you will see that in the future.
That's so cool. And what about DePIN? We've had a couple incredible podcast guests on the show who are founders, C-suite execs. in the DePIN industry, I'm a big fan of this myself. I think it's incredibly cool to use your own data as a user or your own bandwidth, and let other users piggyback off of that for some type of reward, whether it be financial, social, whatever you want to call it. Super, super interesting. One of the few areas of decentralization that where the DE in front of it to create that acronym is literally truly decentralized, really taking the power away from centralized authorities, corporations, companies, and users, and literally spreading out the wealth and benefits and incentives. Big fan of DePIN myself. Are you guys working with any really interesting DePIN teams? And I'd love if you could also just your own personal oomph on DePIN, Jimmy. What gets you going about DePIN? Who are you guys working with? And how is BNB Chain sort of incorporated with DePIN at the moment?
I think that DePIN is a very big concept. For example, any computing or storage solution built with the blockchain technology, you can call it DePIN, right? So it has a very wide spectrum. So of course, we have some collaborations with the DePIN projects that can be built on top of the BNB chain, which on BNB chain, which we provide the the tokenization of the DePIN service to the users. The users can pay the crypto to get the service. At the same time, we also want to work together with the DePIN projects to utilize I just mentioned the one BNB chain multi-chain paradigm. So we want to make sure our whole one BNB chain paradigm can provide the execution layer for the DePIN solutions, so that their smart contract and their business logic can be implemented on the opBNB or BSC, and the data part of the DePIN solution can also saved on the BNB Greenfield as well. So we work with the DePIN project to simplify their workflow and also provide the tokenization or token economy to the DePIN solution. So we are actually working with the MVB of the BNB chain. So there are a couple of the DePIN projects also in our radar. So we are working with them to give our feedbacks to their business model and also provide our technical infrastructure to their solutions as well.
So cool, man. You guys are on a roll. Jimmy, we are getting a little tight for time here. A couple more questions and then we will wrap up here, mate. You guys do a hell of a lot of work in the gaming space, more particular the fully on-chain gaming. Back in 2021, even 2022, it seemed like all of us thought that Web3 gaming was really going to be the catalyst that brought in the masses, that really brought in Web2 users. I don't know if I share that narrative anymore. I feel like when we first went through the whole Axie and all of the other games that were just giving crazy incentives, people were making not a lot of money, but decent money, especially for people in countries where, a minuscule amount of money really moves the needle for them. But present day in 2024, I think we're all cognizant and very, it's front of mind that gaming needs to be at the root of, its inception, and that is fun. I feel like a lot of people would still choose to play Call of Duty or Fortnite or FIFA or Madden or any other game, Roblox, whatever you want to call it, and not make money because it's sort of an escape from real life. It's a way to connect with friends. It's a way to let the time pass, which is very powerful. Gaming is fun at the end of the day, and everything else is just sort of ancillary. But in that regard, you still think Web3 gaming is going to be the catalyst? Is it going to be another area? And just a bit of a segue, I'd love if you could talk about how you guys are working with Web3 gaming teams and how you've really made fully on-chain gaming a thing in present day.
The first thing I want to say is that game has to be fun, right? We play game for fun. It's not for others, right? So I do believe that blockchain can bring more opportunities for the games. I mean, the whole game industry. Because right now the traditional Web2 games is controlled by the game operators or game developers. It's not about gamer ourselves. By myself, I'm a big fan of games because I really enjoy my free time after work to immerse into the virtual world to play the games with my friends. It's really fantastic. So I do believe that GameFi or Web3 game. My personal feeling is I prefer call it a Web3 game or new game. It's not I don't like the word sort of the GameFi because game should
Neither
be
do I.
fun. Yeah,
Agreed.
So right now we are working a lot of the game projects. GameFi Web3 game is still our focus, especially for the BNB chain, because we do believe our infrastructure can provide values to game developers or game communities. For example, when we talk with the games, they usually complain that the transaction speed, because the game is very sensitive to the latency or speed. So we want to reduce the latency or reduce the time of transactions to improve the game's experiences. Of course, they can, after the account abstraction, for example, they can use the sessions to submit the transactions in batch, can increase the gaming experiences, but we also want to reduce the block time to make the transaction on chain as fast as possible. At the same time, we want to reduce the cost, making it possible to make the game fully on chain, because if the cost is too high, even the game developer want to sponsor gamers, that could be very difficult. Right now, on the BNB chain, especially on the opBNB, our cost can make it possible. So even the projects or game developers want to sponsor their gamers, that could be not a big issue for the developers. So at the same time, I still see some challenges that are still facing to the game developers that we are trying to solve, or we already have some solutions for the game developers. One is the complex computations and the big storage requirements, especially the hot data. So if you save the game assets, for example, the pictures or videos on the IPFS or Airwave, which is not that hot data friendly, because if you upload your files to these networks, you cannot update or you cannot delete it from the network. It's very difficult. But BNB Greenfield, we provided hot data friendly solutions so that if you have a character that is used to mint an NFT, your character can evolve from low level to higher level. So your character can change from time to time. So you can update the character's pictures or media files that is saved on the Greenfield, so that you can make the NFT evolutionary. This is one thing I want to mention. Another thing I want to mention is that because of the bigger block size, we can support more complex computations on chain. Of course, you can offload some of the computations off chain as well. But a bigger block time can also make the game developers' life much easier. And we are exploring another solution to help the game developers, is that we want to provide more innovative or developer-friendly SDK for the developers, so that they can integrate the SDK in their game engine or game development frameworks like Unity or Real Engine, etc. This kind of things can make the game developer much easier to deliver the contents to the gamers. I think that is very important.
That's huge.
Yeah, it's also one of our focus to help the game developers using the BNB chain.
I love that. Jimmy, incredible episode. Thank you so much for coming on, my friend. Can't wait to have you on for round 2. Always love having anyone from the BNB chain on the pod. You were great explaining very complex topics to our listeners, and we love to see that. Before we let you go, can you please let our listeners know where they can find you personally and BNB Chain online and on socials?
Yeah, you can always find me on my Twitter and also LinkedIn, and also from our technical forum. I'm very active in our BNB Chain forum to answer questions, or sometimes I also post some questions to the community to see whether the community have better answers than our team, so that we can get some feedbacks from the community to build our BNB Chain more better.
I love it. Jimmy, thanks again for coming on, mate. Really appreciate it. And can't wait for round 2.
Yeah, thank you. It's my pleasure to come here.
Folks, what an episode with Jimmy Zhao, Senior Solution Architect at the one and only BNB Chain. These guys are always moving and grooving, shipping incredible projects, products, DeFi protocols, games, you name it. And of course, we got into a bunch of everything BNB Chain related, opBNB, BSC, DAU, DeFi, gaming, AI, DePIN, fully on-chain gaming, you name it. Huge shout out to Jimmy and the team for making this happen. If you guys enjoyed this one, I hope you did. Please do subscribe. It would mean the world to my team and I. Speaking of the team, love you guys so much. Thank you for everything. And Eustace, you are the man. Appreciate you as always. And the listeners, appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Thank you for listening. Keep on growing those bags and keep on staying healthy, wealthy, and happy. Bye for now, and we'll talk soon.